So let me be the first to say that whenever you get your national TV show, you better ride for me like Tamron Hall rides for Yolanda Adams. Okay,
Well, listen, this is the thing, and this is what trips me about. First off, people from Texas, I always got to let you know they from Texas.
they really do. They really
I
do.
don't know why that is, but it's like, oh, because I'm also from Texas.
So let me be clear. I'm also from Texas.
You know, but that was just that was the what has been a tough week. That was just the little nugget of the just beautiful morsel of nice nasty that I really enjoyed. That I Because I love nice nasty. I
I
am
do
a
too.
connoisseur of nice nasty. I
You
practice
really
nice
are.
nasty. I can speak nice nasty very fluently, and that was just that little nugget between Tamron Hall and Kim Burrell was just beautiful. So that's what you guys just heard, and we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about
Okay, I'm
that
going to
this
say I
week.
want you to explain. Yeah, I want you to explain
I
this a little
definitely
more
will, and we'll
after.
get into that. We're going to talk about
Okay.
that during Root Child, but we have so much other stuff to talk about as well. We got to hit, we have our shows, we had some deaths, we got some people walking away from shows. It was a great week for TV as well.
I want to talk about Trevor Noah. There's
Yeah.
a couple of stories involving Trevor this week that I want to talk about. And
Okay.
I
All right. I feel
also,
like I
you
already
said
know where
good
we're going with
TV.
that.
We will be discussing Dahmer today. It's been trending. Let's get this over with. I have
I
things
don't
to
know if I'm
say.
going to classify that as good TV, and I'm really excited for us to have this conversation because
Oh, interesting
um,
TV. Not good.
I want to
Yeah,
have.
yeah.
Oh,
I've got
okay.
things. I've
Yeah,
got
because
things to
I
say.
do want to talk about that show as well. But we have so much to get into, so let's not waste any more time. Pop stars,
Yeah,
are y'all ready?
because I'm
Because
from
we are.
Texas.
Let's go.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Marcus Drew Steele.
It's me, Trenton Rashad, and you are listening to Cold Pop. We are back with another episode. Marcus, how's your week been?
First off, let me tell you, Trent Rashad is a good friend of mine, and I too am from Kentucky. So
Yeah,
watch yourself,
yeah.
watch your
Oh,
mouth.
okay. That I love that because that was
She said, "Oh,
that.
okay."
Oh, okay. Like game recognized
Yeah.
game. Because I'm
So
also from
let's be
Texas.
clear. I had you on this show so that because I thought you were going to give more backstory to your issue,
Yeah.
but what I won't allow is you to sit on here and defame my friends on my show.
I know. I know. We're gonna Marcus. We are going to get there. Trust me.
I
Talk to
I'm
me.
gagged.
Talk to me about your week first. Let's start
Yes,
there.
yes, yes, yes. So my week has been pretty crazy. Work has been a little bit of a whirlwind this week, a little chaotic. We had a lot of things going on, a lot of videos that needed to get out, plus a few like team. I want to say like a team retreat or something like that, but just like some team activities and stuff. So
Okay.
it's just been a crazy week. But beyond that, I'm very proud of myself because sometimes I have weeks where I don't get to watch that much TV. Maybe this was not one of those weeks. I sat down and I got through several things.
Oh,
I
okay.
am watching a lot of TV right now, and I just wanted to highlight. I'm watching Andor on Disney Plus. It is actually really good.
And or
I
but, as I like to call it.
What I would like to say about Andor and this it is a Star Wars property, but what I think I have gravitated towards a little bit, while I obviously enjoy the whole mystical Jedi Sith lightsaber stuff, I have found myself really really getting involved with the grounded stories that they're telling of just like the normal people in the rebellion and the lives that they're living. There's some really good storytelling going on, and Andor
Okay.
has really like this last episode 4, they took it up a notch, and like the stakes are high, and like
Hmm.
I'm invested, and so it's a really good show, and I would definitely recommend
Nice.
watching. um
Nice.
Another show that I thought also hit a really good episode this week. Rick and Morty and the Night Family. This past week, I think there will probably, by the time this airs, there will be a new episode out of Rick and Morty. But last week's episode with the Night Family, probably one of the best Rick and Morty episodes in a while. Really, really strong, really, really good. I was very, very impressed by that. What else have I been watching? Still watching House of the Dragon. That shit's getting real. Shit's getting
Oh
real,
boy.
girl. I know you're caught up on that, aren't you?
I am. We've done the official swap of the cast,
We've
which
moved
is
on to the older
nice.
cast.
So that was a nice new thing to get this week. But definitely, I think we're starting to see now kind of the after effects of that, just like passed down trauma. Um,
Yeah,
my old man pointed
yeah.
me out. My old man, he pointed this out to me this past week about House of the Dragon, of just like how that kind of gets passed down from generation to generation. That kind of almost fear of, you know, existence, status, all of those things gets passed down throughout these families year after year. And so that was interesting to kind of see play out this week on that show.
It was Allison's line where she said, where she was talking to Aegon, and she was like, "You are the issue. Just by living and
Yeah.
breathing, you are the issue. Like, get it through your fucking head, girl. Like, you can't be sitting here doing this stuff. By just being alive,
Yeah.
you are in danger.
Yeah, and
You
that
in
was just,
danger, girl."
that was the perfect mirror to what her father told her all those years ago, of like,
Yep.
you don't
So I
get
thought,
it. Like, this is what, this is how this is going to play out. You understand, like, you hear it thinking this is la di da. That's not what this is, baby.
yeah. I also wanted to talk about. Did you have a chance to watch Woman King?
I've not got to watch Woman King. So I've also had a crazy week this week. And I've not been able to make it to the theater because I wanted to watch the Woman King. I wanted to Bros came out this week. There's so much
Yeah.
stuff that I'm like, okay, I have to get myself. I need to make time for some movies, and so I've not got to see that yet.
Okay, so
But
I'll
talk to me
hold off.
about it.
Like I said, I'll continue to hold
I mean,
off
you've held off now for 2 weeks, so
2
who knows when
weeks.
I'm going to be able to get to see this? Let's talk about it. Let me hear.
Well, I can't. The reason why I can't talk about it is because I need you to watch it because there are some specific things that I want to say that I want your opinion on that I need you to like see
I'll give my
first.
opinion anyway.
No, I'll hold. I mean, it's like I said, it's not anything bad. Like I'm not trashing it. It was like I said, it was a great. It was a very strong performances. But it just there's some things I wanted to talk about, and so I'll continue to hold. We'll hold. We'll put a pause on this until you have
Okay.
a chance to watch.
We'll see.
Um,
We'll get back to
how
you
was
in
your
the new
week?
year. Um, like I said, this week was super busy for me as well, just like a lot of work stuff and trying to figure out how to make time for everything. But I did get to catch some shows. Once again, there was like a lot of stuff that was premiering this week as well. So that was nice. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is back with season 3. So I got to catch that. That was a very interesting season premiere. This show has been produced within every inch of its life. I don't know the production
What did you
company that's
expect?
doing Salt Lake City, but it's definitely, the production seems to me to be a step above what some of these other franchises are doing. And I don't know if that is that the production companies with these other franchises, because these other cities are a little bit older, they've been around now for much longer. Salt Lake City is like
Hmm.
has something to prove, but they really are doing a lot of storytelling with this. And I think it's I mean, you can go back and forth of, saying, "Oh, well, it's also fake and it's also produced," but to me, it is actually entertaining. There's a lot going on with all of the friendships and the groups in Salt Lake City, and they, the show is doing a really good job of showcasing first the history of how all of these friend groups have gotten started and kind of the arc of their demise.
Right.
You know that Mary Cosby is not back this season, and so I thought I was going to miss her.
Good.
I actually didn't miss her for this. first episode at least. There was definitely enough going on. I think that they probably started filming right after the reunion because it seems like there hasn't been that much time that has passed between where we left the ladies at the reunion versus where they are now, just in terms of relationship. Lisa and Meredith are still bickering about the hot mic moment. Um, Jen
Oh,
Shaw is
really?
still battling with her, legal issues and legal woes, things of that nature. Um, so yeah, it was a very entertaining premiere, and like I said, they are the producers at Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Hats off because y'all are doing it because it's definitely super entertaining. Also, this week Rami premiered, so everyone knows that I've watched Rami now ever since, which is also in its third season, weirdly enough. Um, since its beginning, love that show. Mahershala Ali was on season 2 and did a really amazing job. But it is back. I watched the first episode. I'm not sure where we're going uh with Rami. I'm on for the ride because I'm locked in clearly, but it seems to me that Rami's getting himself in quite a bit of mess already at the beginning of the season. So super excited to see where that leads as well. For my handmaids people out there, y'all pray for June.
Oh, yeah, that
June
came
is
back.
losing her mind. She has officially lost her mind, and I think that she's going to be taking Luke with her because I think yeah, he seems to also be kind of falling apart. So for my handmaids people, the ones that watch handmaids, y'all know what I'm talking about. Just pray for June. Pray for that family. Pray for that union because we cannot have them going to jail. We cannot have them killing people. We just we just
You're a mess.
we just can't have it. So I ask that y'all all just wrap your arms around the Osborne family and just help them because this is definitely tough. It's crazy to me when I watch this show, and I feel like we need to do another recap because y'all know I love Handmaids, but it's just so odd to me how Gilead is actually kind of taunting her and like daring her to come after them, and so it's like, okay, well, if this is what you want, baby, this is what you're gonna get. Um, so it's been a crazy week. Also, this week I've been preoccupied with planning Rihanna's Super Bowl performance. So, for those who don't know,
The memes and the gifs and the
baby,
videos, hilarious.
baby,
Hilarious.
I'm telling you, and that's what this.
They
I mean,
said they said
let us not forget our roots because ColdPOP was started on this conversation. I don't know if you remember that. Like one
it
of our very
was
first episodes was talking about possible Super Bowl and who would be performing, and Rihanna was one that
halftime
came.
performers.
Um, she was one of the names that came up, and so now that this is actually happening, I am locked in, and I'm trying to go through the catalog and figure out how we can mix this music so I could send my proposal in as creative director for the Super Bowl. So that's what I've been doing with
Hold
my week.
on.
That is what's taking up all my time.
Now, what did you say?
I said me just trying to be. I'm trying to work on my submission for creative director for Rihanna's Super Bowl performance because that's definitely what I am been preoccupied with this week of just trying to figure out how to make all the music work.
Well, and you know that they're probably already. She's already got the set list. I thought it was extremely funny
I doubt it.
because they were like, they had said something like on online saying, having a child is so expensive. Even Rihanna had to go back to work.
Yeah, that's very true. But don't
I
get me
said,
wrong,
shout
Rihanna's been
out.
working. Fenty and all of that stuff. Rachel Dolezal has been sporting those Fenty. We're gonna talk about that too. I do want to talk about that as
I
well
can't.
because
I cannot.
listen, we have to get into it because, like I said, there is a lot going on. So, I don't. Are you ready for us to get into our first segment?
Let's do it.
All right. So it is time for our beloved segment of this podcast entitled
Woo
"Child."
chow.
This is the part of the show where Marcus and I get to go over the week's most ridiculous, most ratchet moments in pop culture, and the things that made us say,
Woo
"Child."
chow.
Marcus, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll get this one out of the way quick. First and foremost, uh, we go with we are a TV podcast, which means that inevitably there will be cancellations, child. There will be cancellations. There will be shows that just don't quite make the cut, and we have our first on the chopping block. Queer Ass Folk got canceled one season on Peacock. What are your thoughts? So I personally still have not
I
watched
haven't
the
either. Nobody's
season,
watched it. And
so
clearly,
maybe that's
nobody's
why they
watched
got
it, and that's
canceled.
why it's got yeah, because y'all not watching it.
Yeah,
Y'all are
that's
not
why they got
supporting
canceled.
queer content. That's
So I
exactly
was
why. So
reading the
where were your what are you,
comments.
what was your excuse? Why haven't you been able to check it out?
I was reading the comments under the news article, and the majority of people were like, "Oh, I'm not surprised."
Okay, but okay, so you're still not answering my question. What is your excuse? Why have you not yet watched Queer as Folk?
I don't have an excuse. I've just found other TV shows that I've been more interested in
Rick and
watching. There's
Morty,
no excuse.
The Sandman,
And House
I
of the
Am Groot.
Dragon and all of these other shows. Yeah,
Wow.
there's been other TV
Wow.
shows that I've been more interested in. Period.
Wow.
No excuse. What's your excuse?
My excuse is that I do not want to um yet support the show
Girl,
because I'm still trying to figure
save
out I'm
save
still
it.
trying to figure out, who the
Save it.
intended audience is. Is this a show for queer people, or is this show used to educate heterosexual people about queer people? Which one is it?
I think I think it was doomed the moment they put it on Peacock. Like, who all is paying for all of these streaming services? Like,
Well, hold on
nobody
now,
is
because
doing
Peacock
that.
is now people are watching stuff on Peacock. Now, don't people are definitely
I
watching shit
mean,
on
the only
Peacock.
show I watch on Peacock is Bel Air.
Bel Air's been on there. People have went right to those. People uh ran to those girls trip things on Peacock as well. That Bravo's been putting
What
out.
girls trip
The Real
things?
Housewives girls trip. Those
Oh,
those things.
not
People
me.
have been. So Peacock has definitely been coming with the content, but I
So
think
what you're saying is it's the show.
I hear me out. I think there's something a bit performative about the Queer as Folk cast and them kind of really marching it out with, oh, everyone is represented, and we have every minority, every kind of underrepresented group now represented. And I don't know I don't know, which is kind of I don't know if it's like a bad thing. It's definitely not a bad thing, but there seemed to be something definitely performative about them marching out with that as the kind of the front piece. Um,
I saw a lot of people also say that there was like no nudity in the show either. And like the original show had a lot of nudity.
okay, I don't think that's bad.
So why change that?
Um, maybe.
This is a gay show,
Well, I
right?
don't know if
Like,
I mean, is nudity required to tell the story? I don't know the story, so that's what I'm saying. It's
well, it's the brand of the show. This is Queer as Folk, which is a play on queer as fuck. So like, there's gonna be a lot of fucking going on. So what's the tea?
it's a play on what now?
It's a play on queer as fuck, queer as folk.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm queer as fuck, like queer ass folk. Like, it's a play
I don't
on
know if
words.
that's true. I think you just made that up.
No, what? I'm pretty sure that's a play on
Queer as
words.
fuck. That seems to me like more of like a modern saying. Like the queer
Well,
AF
like
is
when you
like a
watch the original iteration of the show, it was very in your face for your time, like queer people, gay people,
yeah. I've
and
seen episodes of the first
hypersexualized and
one.
stuff. And so it was like, oh yeah, they're queer as fuck, like they're queer as folk,
I'm not
whatever.
sure. I mean, I don't think you need nudity for it to be a good show, but I do think.
I'm not saying we need it,
I,
but
I I mean, like I said, I don't know why it's not doing well. I think with reboots, you run that choice of the possibility of it not taking off or it being just compared so much to the first iteration that that people are not feeling it. So Um,
Well, it got
sorry
canceled.
to hear that.
Ooh, child.
Woo chow.
So, uh, what do you have?
Well, the first thing I want to talk about is Miss Rachel Dolezal has been in the news recently, um, in support and in love for Rihanna. I don't know if she was like, "This is my time" with the whole Rihanna Super Bowl announcement, but like, let me hop on this right now. Baby girl Rachel Dolezal, for those who don't remember, was the white woman who pretended to be a black woman for several years in the Washington State area. She was a part of the NAACP there, but it had come out, and this was like years ago, that she was actually a white woman, had white parents, those types of things, and had like basically uh, altered her complexion, hair to appear more black. Um, she was recently in the news for her risque photos that she's been now posting on her OnlyFans. I don't know exactly where the how we got to establishing the OnlyFans as a part of her brand, but she was recently putting on some Savage Fenty outfits, some scantily clad outfits. Have you seen the photos, Marcus?
And I don't know, and I
Click
don't
on the
want
link
to.
and let me know what you think
I
of
don't want to see
these
them.
of these beautiful shots. I mean, b- now I will say, body is looking good. Baby girl's been in the gym. Rachel has been in the gym. She looks good. I cannot. I have to give it to her. But I mean, I think we're dealing with someone who just wants to be a star, who wants to be in the public by any means necessary.
Well, so let me ask you this: what, for someone like her, who is, I guess, not famous, but maybe more so
Yeah,
infamous,
I would agree with that.
how is she supposed to make money? I mean, like, I guess, what would we expect her
Go
to do? I guess I
go get
wouldn't
a
expect
job.
anything
Go
less
get a
from her.
job. Start working somewhere.
Who's going to hire
I
her?
think I think that she could get a job somewhere. I feel like she might.
Everybody knows who she
I
is.
don't think so. I think that she could change her look enough to where
If she took off the black face,
I think she could change her look enough to where she could not be as recognizable. But I think we're dealing with someone who just wants to be famous at any and all costs. It doesn't matter what it is. So you choose this time now to promote your OnlyFans, so that you can, I guess, get some type of notoriety. She charging people $10 a month.
woo child.
Are you going to be subscribing
Dude, why would you even ask me
to
that?
support?
No. Why would I want to
On her
support
OnlyFans,
her?
she says, "Welcome to my page where I post creative content." Okay, I don't know about okay. We'll go with that. Creative content and interact with
All I see are
fans
ass shots.
more than any other platform. Subscribers get to see how my sensual side pairs with my creative spirit through intimate images inspired by color, light, and lingerie on the weekends.
Save it.
Yes, nine ninety
Save it
nine.
for Oprah,
Go
girl.
ahead and subscribe, Marcus. You know you want to.
Woo child. I'm not girl, I will not I have not thought about Rachel Dolezal since you brought this up, and after we're done, I won't
People
think
are
about
trying
her
to pay
anymore.
bills out here. People are really trying to pay bills. I
Yeah.
know you heard about your boy Toddy, Rockstar.
Yo girl. Yo what, and I
Oh
didn't. What
Lord, we'll
happened?
get into that later. Go ahead, do your next one, and I'll do that one as an extra.
Cause that's yo girl. Okay. Let
Woo
me see
chow.
here. Oh my gosh. Oh, well, I guess on a sad note, we have to say that rapper slash, I guess, an actor,
Multi
Coolio
hyphenate.
died at 59. Multi hyphenate producer, rapper, actor Coolio died at
Yeah,
59. You may remember him from Thugs Paradise. Was it Dangerous Paradise? Thugs Paradise.
I thought it was Gangster Paradise.
No, it was Dangerous
Yeah,
Minds was the movie. Thugs
Gangster
Paradise
Paradise.
was the song.
Gangster
Yeah.
Paradise.
But Dangerous Minds was the movie with Michelle Pfeiffer, wasn't it?
But that was part of the soundtrack. But he's been. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
he did the all that theme song as well. He's been,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Coolio's
yeah.
been around, and really people know him for his crazy hairstyles. He's
Yeah.
been a huge part of uh rap in the 90s, early 2000s, and a huge figure. And
He's a
I just,
Grammy winner.
it's when I saw that, I definitely felt something, because it was a shock. I did not realize how old he was. Um, he was 59, I believe.
Well, 59 is not
I
that
did, I
old.
did not I did not think that Coolio, in my mind, Coolio was not 59. Like, that was like, what? Like, hold on. So, um, but it definitely was a shock, and
Here's
I
the
shed a little thug tear because he definitely has made quite an impact on the culture.
Yeah. Here's the statement from, I guess, his team or family. It says, "We are saddened by the loss of our dear friend and client Coolio, who passed away this afternoon. He touched the world with the gift of his talent and will be missed profoundly." Sheila Finnegan, his manager at Trinity Artists International, said in a statement to Variety, "Thank you to everyone worldwide who has listened to his music and to everyone who has been reaching out regarding his passing. Please have Coolio's loved ones in your thoughts and prayers." They don't say what he passed away from, though.
Yeah, there was actually like photos and social media posts of him like in the days leading up to his death, and he seemed to be in good health, good spirits. So I'm not exactly sure what the cause of death is, um, but prayers to his family.
Yeah, prayers to his family and his whole team and his camp and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, what else you
Well,
got?
I'm surprised you haven't heard about the mess with YouTuber Todrick Hall. Um, Todrick has been ordered to pay over $100,000 in unpaid rent for the Sherman Oaks home that he had recently told people that he had purchased. So he did a video, I think now almost a year ago, of this big huge house tour, big fancy house that he was like, I've always wanted to own my own home, and having this place has been so, having being able to get this place has been such a magical experience, and decorating it, beautiful house. But apparently the rent was like thirty
It
thousand
ain't
dollars a
his.
month, and he had not been making payments, and so he has received a court order by the landlords that he now has to pay for the back rent, as well as any damages, and as well as the legal fees for the landlords. Yeah, so he did that clip, this video in February of 2021. I'm not exactly sure what's going on and why he's not paying bills, but he does have a history of this, um just not being good with
He
money
does.
management. And I think, Todrick, get some people on your team to kind of help you with this, because that's the last thing that you want. It's already out there, but at 36, you need to start rectifying some of this behavior so you can go on to the next level. I think Todrick is a very talented person, but this is something that is going to keep him out of the circles that he's been trying to break into for so long.
You want him to get people on his team to help him out so he can not pay them
Well,
too?
see, no, no, no. I'm not saying that, because see, and they should be. He
That's
probably
what
no.
you're
He just needs
saying?
to get a team in charge of his finances, because
How's he
they
going to
could
pay
pay
him?
themselves, pay themselves
Okay.
out of that money. That's To
I
me,
was like,
that's
how's he
better
going to
than
pay him
that.
if he
To me,
can't
that's
pay
better
rent?
than, because it's not. I don't think, as much as Todrick like tours and all of that stuff, I don't think he's broke. I just don't think that he's paying his. I don't think he's just paying bills.
Either way, it's not a
Definitely
good
not a
look.
good look. And like I said, it's keeping him from the things that he really wants to do. There are people that have come after him and that are doing more and less, to me, in my mind, less talented. But because he chooses to do business this way, it's 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 been holding him back, and it will continue to hold him back. Anyone who saw that documentary of him doing the process for the tour, behind the curtain, that documentary, you get a little bit
Yeah,
of
it's on
insight about
Netflix.
how he handles business, and like, he's just not he's a more creative person, creative mind, and that doesn't always mean that the um you have the ability the
the
back and
business acumen to make sure people get paid on
exactly,
time,
exactly,
and that to make sure that the tour schedule is
exactly. And I
set
told her, I
and
said,
that, you
"Ma'am,
know,
you
props
can't
are where
do
they need
that.
to
You
be.
can't do that." And so, um,
Just
yeah,
focus on the
woo
music,
child.
girl. Woo child. Okay. Um, okay. The last thing I have, we're gonna get into one of my celebrity boos in my head.
Okay.
Let's talk about it because I think Trevor Noah to honey. I said if Trevor Noah ever
Well,
looked my
clearly
way,
he's
hey,
not your
hey
type.
Trevor.
You're not his type. Let me say that.
Oh, he
Yeah,
no, I'm not his
clearly.
type. So the first bit of news is that Trevor Noah and Dua Lipa were spotted getting real
Mm.
cozy, were real cozy, and spotted
Comfortable
kissing
in
and
their
stuff. And so now
skin.
rumors are swirling that they may be dating, and that's a good look. I love that for both of them. I think that's perfect. If they like it, I love it. I'm not mad at that at all. I like Dua Lipa. I like Trevor Noah. Trevor's a little bit older than her. Dua Lipa's only like 27. Trevor's like 35, 36, 37, so something
Yeah.
like that. So a little bit of an age gap, but that ain't never stopped nobody. So I'm here for it. What do you think?
Mm, sure. I I think he could do better than Dua Lipa, but I mean, I think
Oh,
that there
really?
are some really dope actresses that I would love to see him with, some dope singers, some people that I would have loved to see him kind of maybe cozy up to before Dua Lipa. But you find love where you find love, and so hey, good for them. If I don't know what it is, they were recently they were
I'm
just
gonna say
spotted
it ain't
out.
love.
They were
It's
just
just
spotted
like
out,
at this point.
having dinner, and you got to meet people, get me, so go for it. I
Yeah,
mean, he's about to have
why
a lot
not?
of time on his hands anyway, so
Which brings me to my next point about Trevor is that he's stepping down from the Daily
yeah,
Show after 7 years. He took over for Jon Stewart, and he is stepping down from the Daily Show. They don't really quite say why. He kind of did a statement at the end of one of his shows this past week saying that
yeah.
he would be stepping down. I'm not quite sure what they're going to do now with the Daily Show. I'm not. I don't think the ratings have been stellar compared to some of the other late night TV shows, but I will say he is one of only two black people who have a
Yeah,
late night TV show because Amber Ruffin has her
yeah,
show on NBC, and then Trevor Noah, which was on Comedy Central, and they're the only two
yeah,
black people in late night, and so that's unfortunate to lose one of those slots. But I'm sure Trevor's a comedian at heart, and so I'm sure he'll probably want to get back to doing stand up
oh
and
yeah, I'm
maybe
sure
some
he's
other
got some other
projects.
stuff
I'm sure
lined
he'll
up.
be able to do yeah, I'm sure he'll be able to do so much more because he was on the Daily Show and stuff like that. But I'm sad to see him go, but I'm also excited to see what he's got coming up next because I do really like Trevor, and I was excited when he got named as the new host. And so I guess we'll see what
Yeah,
happens now.
I think the Daily Show for him probably has run its course. It did what it was supposed to do. It's really put him on a global platform. And so now that he has what he's gotten, what now that he's got what he's needed from that show, I think he'll be good. Um, who knows who they'll bring into this? I would love to see another woman come into late night and to be given the support needed to be able to thrive in the landscape. So I think that would be really cool. I'm not sure if there is some people have been talking about like, oh, another black comedian should replace him. I'm not sure who I would put in that spot. Do you have anybody that comes to your mind?
Um, Not right off of the top of my head. I would need to think about it. I do want to read his statement really
Okay.
quickly, though. What he said. He said, I realize there's another part of my life that I want to live, that I want to carry on exploring. He said, he also said, I miss learning other languages. I miss going to other countries and putting on shows. I miss just being everywhere, doing everything. And so he wants to get back out into the world and travel and go on tour and stuff. As far as as far as a replacement, I can absolutely see a black woman in
Yeah.
that slot. Um, I'm going to float a name to you, and you tell me what you think.
Go
You
ahead,
ready
lay it
for
on me.
this? What do you think about Amanda Seals? She is knowledgeable enough of the world's events to carry a show like that. She's also a comedian, and she has a podcast where she has all of these great interviews and stuff like that. Anyway, what are your thoughts?
I'm not mad at that. I think that this would be a good way. Because I'm not really sure to be, and this is me being completely honest. I'm not sure exactly how knowledgeable she is of events outside of just like racial stuff. But this would be, if she
Hmm.
is, this would be a really good time to showcase that and flex that. She had a little time on the reel, so she knows she's had that experience.
She's
So
got the
I
talk
think
show
that could be
experience.
good. I'm not mad at that option. I will also say this:
That's
I don't really watch the Daily Show. I think John Oliver has been kicking.
I've
John
used
Oliver
to. I
has been
don't
kicking
anymore.
everybody in late night's ass for years, and
Let me tell.
so
I
I
love Last
think,
Week
yeah,
Tonight.
it's it's tough, but yeah, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that choice, that option. Start a
If I
hashtag.
think
Get a
of any
hashtag.
others,
Get a
I'll come
campaign
back to you
going.
later in the show.
Let's get this started.
Well, I want to lay
No, no,
out a
no.
few candidates. So let me
I think we
think
should
throughout
put
the
all
show,
of
and
our
then I'll
support
bring
behind
them up.
Amanda Seals. Reach out to her, see if she wants it, and then yeah, we'll get going on it. Hashtag
I do want to
Amanda
say, does
Seals
she
for
even want to
Daily
do it?
Show.
Yeah,
Pop stars, help us out.
we'll see. So that's all I have for
Well,
Wu
I want to
Chow.
talk about the opening clip that we had of today's show between Tamron Hall and
Oh
Kim
yes,
Burrell. So earlier this week on the Tamron Hall show, Kim Burrell came on to talk about her name that's been in the news recently for controversial remarks made while she was in church. So for those who don't know, Kim Burrell recently went viral talking on the mic. I'm not exactly at whose church she was at. I'm not sure whose church she was visiting, but she made several comments about
doesn't matter.
uh people being broke, people being ugly. I don't I'm not going to go into everything that she said. It seemed to me that she was just kind of talking like, off the cuff. Um and what she came on, or what I think the idea was for her to kind of come on and was to kind of save face on the Tamron Hall show, was to explain herself, be heard, so that she can move on from this. Well, that didn't actually happen. So what she started to do was she started to actually pick and point out people in the gospel industry that she thought were her friends. Um and went as far as to name a few. One of those people that she named was Yolanda Adams. Um, Now, this would have been all well and good, and this would have just been like a little hot take, ooh, little juicy session. But Tamron Hall said, "No, baby, not today, and not on my show." And
We're not doing that
quickly,
here.
I mean, quickly let her know and shut it down that what we're not going to do on this show was talk about my friend Yolanda Adams, who is my friend, and I'm also from Texas as well. What I thought was so interesting about this is that I mean, immediately Tamron sensed where the interview was going, and was like, "That's not what this is about. I
Yeah,
wanted if
absolutely.
you wanted to clear up anything that you
Yeah,
had said, but I'm not going to let you talk about someone who is also a friend to me, a dear friend to me, Yolanda Adams." What were your thoughts on this?
yeah. I think Tamron handled it perfectly. I think that's exactly, she wasn't rude. She wasn't like, it was a nice nasty. It was like, look, okay, so she was like, well, let me put my cards on the table. Yolanda's also a really good friend of mine. I am also from Texas, so that's not what we're about to do on this interview. Like, please, by all means, if there's anything that you want to clear up the air about your remarks or your comments or how you feel, but we're not here to pick apart and call out specific people. That's
I
not
thought
what
she did
this
it very
platform is
classy.
about.
I mean, it was just how quickly it happened, and I think Kim Burrell received the message
Yeah,
loud and clear, because as soon as she said, "I'm from
loud and
Texas," oh,
clear.
okay, all right, moving on. So it was just like it
Okay.
was it was just a nice little, like I said, just like a nice little nugget that I love, and so I've been playing that clip all week. Uh,
No, I think she handled it well, and I mean, I would say good luck to Kimberell, but she could kick rocks because she said a lot of things about the gay
And
community too that I don't agree with.
for
So
me,
I
and
don't
this kind
care.
of goes back to Rachel Dolezal. This also applies to Kim Burrell, as well as others. I mean, I might even argue and say that Todrick Hall is in this game as well. I think that people know how to leverage media, and how to kind of keep their name out there. So Exactly. And so I think that
Relevancy.
that's what this was an attempt to do. Kim Burrell obviously knows that Yolanda Adams has a lot of love out there outside of Tamron Hall. Like Yolanda Adams is like, next to Shirley Caesar, one of the queens of gospel. And so she has a lot of love out there, a lot of supporters. And so this was just one more controversial thing for her to put in her portfolio of ridiculous ridiculous commentary. So,
Woo
yeah, very
child.
much Wu Chow. Um,
I
all
cannot.
right, I think it's time for us to take a break, Marcus. And when we come back, we will do our spotlight
Let's
shows
do
of
it.
the week. I will be covering RuPaul's Secret Celebrity Drag Race. And what are you covering?
Which I
Child,
saw
we're
the
going to talk
finale
about
of.
all of that momentarily.
And I'm covering Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story on Netflix. Oh, and we are damn sure going to talk about
All
that.
right, well, when we come back. All right, it is time for our spotlight shows of the week. This week, I am covering RuPaul's Secret Celebrity Drag Race. That's right, move over, Dancing with the Stars. There's another celebrity talent competition in town. RuPaul's Secret Celebrity Drag Race takes the genre to new heights in its newest iteration of the popular franchise. They invited 9 celebrities to come dress up in drag with a drag mentor and learn about the different aspects of drag performance. Um, we have we'll go into the cast in just a little bit, but Marcus, I know you've been watching this as well. Um, First things first, jumping right in. We have seen Celebrity Drag Race before. I think they had 2 seasons of this prior. And so
I think it was just one
no,
Secret
no, no.
Celebrity
Oh,
Drag
I'm just saying
Race
celebrity,
or
celebrity Drag
no,
Race.
just
So we
Celebrity
have
Drag
seen.
Race. Yeah.
Is it just
I think it was
one?
just one
I thought it was
season.
two, but they've had Celebrity Drag Race
I
now.
think it was just one.
But this was the first time that they've actually. We started the season with the celebrities actually being anonymous, which was a whole brand new, different aspect to this, and they've taken it from the regular stage that it's filmed on, which is the usual Drag Race stage from the original franchise, and have put it in front of a live studio audience. So many changes, so
It
many
was very
changes,
Mass
but
Singer, the
very
Mass
close to what you
Singer.
would see as like a Mass Singer, a
Hmm.
Dancing with the Stars, any of those other celebrity talent
Hmm.
competition shows. Marcus, what were your initial thoughts?
So I had been watching. I've not been like sitting down and watching the full show. I've been catching it through clips and performances. One of the biggest things I really liked were the Queen Supremes. I love that Monet and Brooklyn and Juju had their moments and kind of like were the
Hmm.
comic relief and stuff like that. I loved that, and then I caught some of the performances. There was definitely one person I was rooting for more than the other, but I'll let you get
Got it.
into it and then I'll
So,
share my thoughts
well,
that way.
let's get into the cast. So we have AJ McLean, who was Poppy Love from the back, uh,
Which I was
right?
surprised
So
who did
AJ
very
McLean from
well.
the Backstreet Boys, Tatiana Ali, who you might remember as Ashley from Fresh Prince of Bel Air, Mark Indelicato, who I remember as a kid from Ugly Betty.
I don't know her.
Um, did you ever watch Ugly Betty?
I don't know her.
So he was the
I did, but I don't
so
remember him.
he was the effeminate young kid. I think it's like Betty's like cousin or nephew. Yes, that
Oh, her
played
brother.
in the show. So that's Mark. That was Mark.
Got it.
Kevin McHale, who you everybody remembers from Glee. He was the one that sang
Do
them
you know
cover
that show
songs and
Glee?
stuff. Uh, exactly.
You know that show Glee where they do
Daniel
the cover
Francesi,
songs.
who is from people mostly remember from Mean Girls, but I also loved him, and I loved him in
She
Looking
doesn't even go
as
here.
well. Jenna,
Oh
another
yeah,
Glee alum,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Damien, I think. Not,
No, I was just saying I
no, I'm
remember him
sorry.
from
What were you
Looking.
saying?
That was really enjoyed him from that. Jenna Ushkowitz, who's another
Yeah,
Glee alum as well, right there with Kevin.
their
An
show Glee.
original Queer Eye cast member, Tom Felicia, who I think he was the style guru. Oh no, 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 no. He did interior design on the first iteration of yeah,
Yeah, because
he did
Carson was the
interior
style guru.
design on the very first season of Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. So that's where people would remember him
Gotcha.
from. And then of course Taylor Dane, Tell It to My Heart, Love Will Lead You Back, soup, large American singer songwriter from most popular I think like during like the 80s, early 90s. So,
The '80s. Yeah.
and then last but certainly not least, everyone's favorite black auntie Loretta Devine joined the cast as well. My first thoughts about this, Marcus, was this was so intense um of a season for the cast that had to put this on. They had live performances every week that the show was going on that they had to have choreographed,
Hmm.
they had to have a look. They had to, they're rehearsing with all of these dancers. It's very different from what we've seen from Celebrity Drag Race in the past. I think, they'll come there for like maybe what, a day, or maybe a day or two and come, hang out with the mentor for a little bit, get their makeup done, and then go on stage and perform. But this show really brought in almost every aspect of the original franchise. They had to perform, they had to lip sync for their lives, they had to do the snatch game. All of these big large pieces that we know real drag queens are actually doing, these celebrities are now having to do. I didn't know how I was going to take that at first because you're basically asking someone who has not done or performed drag before to kind of perform at this very high level of drag, but I think a lot of them did stand up to the challenge. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised with a lot of them coming out so um ferocious and so confident as they were. Tatiana Ali was a huge Tatiana Ali
It's a
was a huge
competition.
standout for me this season. I think was probably someone that maybe might have been a dark horse. I wasn't immediately looking at her, but what by the end she was my winner. Did you have anybody that stood out to you?
So that's what
Yeah.
I was gonna say. Tatiana Lee was my winner. She was, I guess, spoiler alert. She did not win. She made it to the final three,
Yeah.
but like, I was
Yeah,
rooting for her. I
I
really
really
wanted her to
did
win.
enjoy her.
I
I think AJ McLean, of course, did a great job. As Poppy Love. I mean, he's a
I mean, of
performer,
course,
natural performer on the stage, and is very comfortable on the stage. I don't think that he was able to fully get out of his body and bring enough of the uh femininity to yeah, yeah,
the
of the character
femininity.
of Poppy Love that he wanted to portray. I think sometimes he wanted to be sexy, but he couldn't quite get there. Um, what did you think of the final three? Was that your final three? So in the final three for the finale, we had Poppy Love, who was AJ McLean, Chakra Seven, also known as Tatiana Ali, and Thirsty Von Trapp, who was Mark and Delicato from Ugly Betty.
I would have liked to have seen
Yeah, Prince
Daniel
Sazy.
Farisi. Is that his name? I would have liked to seen him. He had a really huge following. Um,
I
but I
thought
mean,
I thought Chick Fil A
the, it is what it.
belonged
I
in the
like I
final
said.
three rather than Thirsty Von Trapp. So when I'm and Chick Fil A is who Kevin McHale is, the guy from Glee. I thought he should have been in the top three
Yeah,
rather than
yeah.
Thirsty Von Trapp. Thirsty to me was wanting to be so sexual and wanting to be so out there that it just didn't come across as none of her performances came out as nearly as well thought out or as methodical as someone like Tatiana Ali, who had all of these hidden meanings and themes within her actual performances. Um,
Yeah.
the finale is what really took me to another level and let me know that okay, wow, this is a full on season of Drag Race because it was the basically the same format as a regular season of finale. They had messages from friends and family. They had friends and family in the seats. It was like a full thing. I thought that
Hmm.
was super interesting, and it kind of surprised me that they were going this far out with this particular show.
I mean, they got to tie it
No,
back
I
into the
totally get
original
that. It just hadn't
franchise.
been done before in other versions of the Celebrity Drag Race. It I I want to give like hats off to the entire cast because when you think about the work that goes into it, um, these people put a lot of work in. And if you're doing the show, I think we had
Oh, absolutely.
maybe like 8 or 9 episodes. Like for 8 or 9 weeks, this is quite a lot that you're putting on yourself, on your body, as well.
I will say this. I think so. So I have a few thoughts about just the show in general and what I've seen. I think you hit the nail on the head with this. This is a
Yeah.
mashup of Dancing with the Stars and The Masked Singer. It's taking both of those things, and it's a reality competition. So I'm not surprised that like they went this route. I also think that they got so much flack from the first Celebrity Drag Race and how terrible it was that they had to do a
Mm.
complete redo, a complete overhaul, which I'm glad they did because I think this will probably stick. There will definitely be another season of this, and because I mean it was legit. It was legit. It was professionally done.
RuPaul looked
All of the girls looked
amazing. Who
great.
did
The
RuPaul's
Queen
dresses? I
Supremes
know
looked
that couldn't have
great.
been Zaldi doing those dresses. Now, those dresses
Azaldi,
looked
Azaldi
very
does all of her
different from
dresses.
what we see on the regular show. Would you agree? I felt like all of those dresses looked very different from what we usually get from her. So I was like, is this Zaldi or not? Um,
Yeah.
I loved every dress that RuPaul wore this season.
Maybe she was just going
Girl,
for like a
level
new
up. I
look or
loved it.
something like that. And so I can't say for sure if Zaldi did her stuff, but it looked great. I also another thing I wanted to say. I got two more things. So the other thing I wanted to say is very interesting because a lot of the Glee kids are on a lot of these reality shows because if you don't know, Amber Riley, quiet as is kept, not
Spoiler
quiet
alert.
as is kept. She's on the new season of Mass Singer right now. Well, I mean, it's not a spoiler alert. Everybody knows. Like, as soon as she opened her mouth to sing, everybody
Maybe
was
this
like,
is Kiki
"Girl, that's
Palmer.
Amber Riley." Like, what? And so
I
she's
said
on the
maybe
new
this is
season,
Kiki Palmer.
huh?
Um,
And so I thought that was very interesting. And then one of the things that I didn't like, and this is going to sound really controversial, but I'm going to back it up with the following statement. I To me, they can do away with Snatch Game on this particular
okay.
on this particular series. I don't think it's needed. I would follow that up by saying that in general on like the original on any other season of Drag Race, I am honestly not a huge fan of Snatch Game. I really love the musical challenges. The musical challenges are by far probably my favorite, but I'm not that huge. Like, is Snatch Game fun and when it's done right and people are good at it? Great, but I get a lot of secondhand embarrassment from a lot of
No,
these
my
girls
favorite is
who are
Snatch
just
Game.
are not comedians and
When
are
it's
not,
done right, Snatch
funny is
Game
not in their repertoire.
it's really good. It's really good.
Yeah, like Jinx Monsoon,
When it's done
laughed
right,
my
it's
ass
really
off,
really
like
good. And
amazingly
I
done.
think I think if people done away with it, just completely done away with it, the fandom would riot and there would be issues. So I don't know if I could
Well,
say
of
that, but
course,
the challenge that I wasn't as impressed with, to be honest, was when they did the duets week with the drag queens. I was not impressed with that. So and there was some drama
there
I
was
hear
drama.
backstage with Violet Chachki and Got Mick, but I think overall that episode was not as impressive as it could be, um just because I felt like the you already have a mentor there, and then you bring in someone else to kind of start to do a duet performance with, and none of the performances that week really I felt like showcase anything new with these drag queens that are coming on to kind of help these girls get get the crown. So was it Katya? And I can't remember who she performed with, but I remember watching it and I'm just like, wow, why is she doing this? So that episode I felt like could be touched up a little bit. I don't know if I would get rid of Snatch Game. Maybe I would do a different iteration of Snatch Game. You know how they've done it like with the dating show, something different.
Just something else.
And oh, what I do love and what I think that they should keep, uh the Tic Tac lunch of the finale was really nice, and I think that um
Of
it gave these
course.
people we got to get a little bit more insight into who they were. Uh, so the winner of Secret Celebrity Drag Race was Poppy Love. AJ McLean won $100,000 for a charity. So um, yeah, and I think it was
Oh, they got
a trans
money.
youth charity that actually that money is going to be donated to. So that's great to hear. But overall, I thought it was definitely larger than life and way more than what I expected it to be for Drag Race. Yeah, so definitely the budget
It's
is
called
there,
budget.
and RuPaul looked great.
Budget. So, but yeah, overall, like I said, I'm sure they'll have another season, and I'm sure it'll be even bigger and better with
Who would you love to
more
see on
star
this show,
known
as
stars
if this is
to
the way it's going to
continue
be
the
done
trend.
now moving in the future? Who would you love to see on the show?
Gosh, secret celebrity drag race. I don't know. I mean, I love the surprise. Like I think that this cast was a good mix of like people that we know, people that are maybe not as well known, or people getting back into the spotlight. So I mean, I
Yeah,
would be
I have a
open. I
couple
would
of
love to
people in
see.
mind that I think could be really, at least really interesting to kind of go out there and do something fun. First off, being the beautiful and very sexy Dylon Burnside, who people might know from Pose as Ricky. Do you know him? I say Dylon. It
Is
looks
it
like
Dylon or
Dylon. It's like,
Dylan?
and don't he pronounce it like Dyllon? I think it's Dylon, right? But that also might be my making the
I thought
band
it was Dylan
coming out because
Burnside.
Dylon. I don't know, but
Dylon.
I
That's
thought it
what I
was
thought
Dylon.
of.
But the guy
Dylon,
Ricky
Dylon,
from
Dylon.
Pose, I think would be amazing on this show, and I think he would
Yeah,
like. I just think he would
he
kill
would
it.
do
He
well.
has the dance ability, and can kind of he can bring that femininity into his body. So I think he would be great.
I got somebody as soon as he's done with Dancing with the Stars, I would like to see Wayne Brady. Wayne, come back.
Yeah, now
I
he's
would
done
like to see
drag
Wayne Brady
before,
on Secret
so that
Celebrity
wouldn't
Drag
be a
Race. I
big.
think he would do well.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a big jump for
Yeah,
him because
that's
he
why I
has
said.
done. He's toured as a drag queen before, in Kinky Boots, and so well, that's what I mean. He's toured
And he's
as
done
Kinky
Kinky
Boots,
Boots,
and
hasn't
yeah,
he?
so he's done drag before, so
Oh
that
yeah.
wouldn't be a
Yeah.
big jump for him at all. So okay, well, that
I could
is
see him being on
RuPaul's
there.
Secret Celebrity Drag Race. If you want to catch it, I'm sure you can find it on where would it be? VH1 or Paramount?
On Paramount.
I don't
I'm
know.
sure it's
You
on
know they
I
get
think
real
it's on Paramount
territorial.
Plus.
They get real
It
territorial
aired on
about these.
VH1,
So
but it'll be on Paramount.
but VH1 is where you could probably stream it if you have DVR or or whatever you have. When we come back, Marcus, you're going to do your spotlight show of the week. Yeah, we're going to get into the
Yes, we're
business.
going to talk about Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer series.
All right.
And baby, I have some thoughts. So we'll cover it right after the break. What's up, everybody? We are back, and it is time for my TV show spotlight of the week. So let's just cut to the
Let's cut to
chase.
the chase.
Let's cut to the chase. Let's get into it. Um, First off, everybody has been talking about Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer series.
No,
Have you had a chance to
I've
watch the
watched. I
entire
watched
season, or
the
what have you
first and the
watched?
second episode. I had to take a little break from it. The show is a lot, and so I
Understandable.
just I think the so yes, to answer your question, I've only watched the first two episodes. No word yet on if I'll be finishing the series, but um, but yeah,
So let me break it down for you, and I'm going to tell
girl.
you what you should do because this is what I did. So I watched the first 4 episodes. Let me put it like this: I watched the first 3 episodes, and I was like, okay, what am I watching? I'm feeling a little triggered. This is a little disturbing. And so then I watched half of four, and then I went to the descriptions of the episodes, and then I
What?
went and I
Okay.
skipped episode 5 and 6 because I was
Right.
done watching black boys be killed. And then I watched episode 7 and 8. Episode 7 and 8 are the ones you need to watch. Episode 7 is Niecy Nash's episode. Very, very well done. Very, very well done. I'm very proud of her. I believe she deserves an Emmy nomination for that episode. As a guest actor or
So
whatever,
you
it's
skipped
very well
episodes.
done. You should absolutely watch it.
So you
I
just
was
skipped
in.
over
I
some
was.
episodes.
Huh? Well, I'm going to tell you why. Let me explain. I'm going to tell you why. I was very livid after watching
Hmm.
episode 7. I was very mad, very, very mad. This series is a little perplexing to me. As you can see that the things that I've written down in here, I am a little concerned as to why this series was even greenlit or made. The reason why I skipped around is because after watching
Yep.
the majority, there's 10 episodes, and I watched the majority of them. The emphasis was on making Jeffrey, or to me, from my perspective, and I think there's a lot of people that agree with me, the emphasis was on making Jeffrey
Yeah.
Dahmer a sympathetic or empathetic character, which is
Yep.
it's a non-starter for me from the gate. An absolute non-starter from the gate. We focus a lot on his issues as a child and his senior year of high school when he killed his first person all the way up until he was 31. But it makes it seem as though the reason why he was doing this was because he was struggling with his sexuality.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Fuck all of that. Because number one, being gay is not gonna have you out here chopping motherfuckers up and
Right.
putting them in your freezer, fridge, and keeping skulls and heads and all of that. No, 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 no. Like that's what makes me extremely mad about this. But then also, let's just go through. And before I start jumping around, let me give you the basics, like I always give you. Let's talk about the main cast. The main cast has some notables. Evan Peters,
Yep.
Niecy Nash Betts, Molly Ringwald is in this, which I didn't recognize her until I like actually looked, and I was like, oh, that is Molly. Good for you, I guess, for booking some gigs. And Richard Jenkins, who plays Jeffrey Dahmer's dad. That was not a shady comment, but I just not seen
Yeah.
Molly in a lot of things, and so it was good to see her in something. While you over here laughing. um the plot and story arcs. And as I go through these, you kind of tell me what your thoughts are. The first one, like I said, centered the one of the main plots is just centered around Dahmer's life in general. But what I didn't like was the fact that they tried to steer this in a way to
Hmm.
make you feel some type of sympathy or empathy for him. And I didn't like that. Did you get any of that from watching the first
I
couple of
saw from so I
episodes?
think, yeah, they may have touched briefly on some like family stuff, maybe in the first or second episode. But I will also say I don't know if people are just now coming around to the fact of the Jeffrey Dahmer story. His story's been out there. I don't know if there was anything super new that came out of um that super like that was new that came out about Jeffrey Dahmer's like upbringing. Like we knew he had a shitty childhood.
No, and I don't think that that's the reason why people are upset. Yeah, you're
Hmm.
absolutely right. There's nothing new, but it's just the way that it was framed. The way that it was framed
Yeah.
was a little upsetting to me.
Yeah.
Upsetting was a little side eye. It was side eye to me. I would say I definitely side eye. I would have much rather seen a series that revolved around the neighbors
Yeah.
and their experiences living next to him or by him, and of course the victims and their families. There was an episode 7, with Niecy's character, that is basically from her point of view. The actual neighbor, her name
Glendora.
was Cleveland.
What was it?
What's her
Glendora?
first
What
name?
was it? What was her name?
Huh?
Yeah, Glenda or Glendora,
I
something
think it
like
was
that.
Glenda Cleveland. Yeah. So they did the episode from her perspective as of everything that has happened throughout the season. And so we just get to see what she was doing as all of these events were happening throughout the season. Very disturbing, number one. But what really kind of like unsettled me is that they show this one boy whose name was Dean, who like moved into the building and got
Yeah.
killed. And I was like, okay,
I found it
I
I found it very
I will
tough
not
to
be
watch,
I was
and
like,
I'll tell you
I
where
don't need
I've
to watch
stopped.
any more of this.
Where I stopped watching, um, was the death of the 14-year-old. Um, so when he killed the 14, so when he killed the 14-year-old, that's when I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
the
I think I'm
Laotian boy.
good
Yeah.
on this. I don't know if I need to go back and like relive, certain things like that. I will say from the first episode we get to go over the basically the one who got away, Tracy Edwards, who was the um victim who was able to actually like get
Yeah.
away and brought cops to Jeffrey Dahmer's house. And I think what really kind of grounded this for me was I watched the YouTube clip of his court testimony. Did you see that clip? And
Yeah.
that just
Mhm.
really
Oh, I did a lot of
I don't know,
research.
I just felt very, it made me feel very weird about this entire project, because you can obviously see this man who has been traumatized from what went on in that apartment. And that paired with the um
Yeah.
this young kid that ends up getting killed in the series as well. It's really hard. I One of the things that I feel like, one of the plots or story arcs that I felt like that they were trying to talk about and trying to like really um amplify was just how fucked up these cops were. Just because that was just
So we're gonna
that
get to
was a
that.
huge
Absolutely, we're absolutely gonna get to that
component of
because
this, and like why he was able to do what he did for so long.
the so the Tracy boy that got
No,
away, I
he's
looked him
yeah,
up.
he was
He
in
has not had a
jail,
good life. He has had a very hard life. He has been in and out of jail or prison and been
charged with
arrested
homicide.
multiple times. And I could imagine, like after experiencing such a traumatizing event like this, he got no help. Therapy wasn't a thing back then. So I mean, like the cops didn't do anything to make sure that he got the help that he needed after experiencing something like that. And so his
He is
story
still
is a
alive. All
very
the stories
sad
are
story.
sad.
I think
Yeah.
he's still alive
All the
from what I
stories are
read,
like
but just
very, yeah.
looking at his life,
It's a really
yeah,
tough thing
it's a
to
very
watch.
sad. And then the 14-year-old boy who was the Laotian boy, like that whole thing is what really, like, I guess, put the national spotlight because not
Been
number
abused.
one,
Yeah.
his brother had already
Yep.
had an encounter with Jeffrey Dahmer and had pictures taken. And then the boy came because he was like, oh, my brother said that you got paid. And then he
Right.
escaped. And then the police took him back to Dahmer's apartment. And
Glenda.
um,
Glenda.
is it Glenda Cleveland? What's her first name? And Glenda was the one who called the police and like, are you all
Yeah.
sure this boy is of age? Because he looks like a child. So we should. Is there been some identification or some like have
Yeah.
we gone and done a house check and see if he is okay and like called the police multiple times to no avail and when you watch episode 7 you see how many times she called the police and was
Something's
like,
not right.
hey, somebody
Yeah.
needs to come and check. Somebody needs to come do something. I also found out she didn't live in reality while in the series they played it like she lived next door. She didn't live in the same building as Jeffrey Dahmer. She lived in an adjacent building, but the smell was so bad that everyone in the adjacent building and the building that he was in smelt it. And she was the one who saw all of these young men coming
Yeah.
in with him and was the whistleblower on all of this to begin with. And the most infuriating part of all of this is that even when Jeffrey Dahmer was arrested, the police never fucking spoke to her or interviewed her or did anything about asking her questions about what was going on. It took damn Jesse Jackson to come in and really give her her moment to like really unveil what it is that was happening in this building. Like when I tell you, I was so infuriated. I was like, this is and you wonder why people of
Hmm.
color have such a mistrust of the police. You wonder why all of these like the, the fact that Jeffrey Dahmer kept getting chance after chance after chance after chance, not only from his family, but from the police and people taking his side and believing him over any black people or any people of color, like it blows my mind. It infuriates me. And that's why I was like, I can't, what's the point of watching this? Like, I can't sit here and watch these black boys just get unceremoniously killed by this white man and nobody do anything about it, especially when a lot of these boys were you and I's age. Like the age range, despite the 14-year-old, was like mid to late 20s up until mid 30s. And it's like, it's infuriating. And so I'm this whole show just, it didn't sit well with me. I watched as much as I could, but then I was just like, was the acting? I tried to take off my like my personal feelings about it, and was the acting good? The acting was great. Like Evan Peters definitely did what he needed to do in the role. Niecy did, and his dad did, and Molly Ringwald, like very good, very well done. But just the whole point of this, it just infuriates me. The other reason why I would say that you need to watch episode 7 is because Janet Mock wrote it. So it was very 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 well done, I thought.
Um,
Um what other thoughts do
I
you
don't
have?
know if I have any other thoughts. I like I said, I think um there was just a lot that's been said about this in the press too, and people are clearly having reactions. Celebrities are having reactions and making comments about it, and it sparked some conversation. It's definitely sparked some conversation. So if that's what it was, intended to do, then hats off. But it's highly traumatic. And I'm usually someone who can like watch stuff. I watch a lot
It
of
was,
true
yeah.
crime. I watch a lot of I watch a lot of different things, but one of the most profound things was, making the families of the victims relive this stuff is just kind of effed up. And that's sad.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, some stats. It is the most watched Netflix show since Stranger Things season 4 premiered. So it is number one. Uh,
Whose
the
family?
family has
Dahmer's
spoken
family
out and
or
they are upset about it. And Netflix, so much so that Netflix had to remove their
wait, whose
LGBTQ
family
tag
is
from it. Which
upset?
why in the fuck would you put that on there to begin with?
Okay, got
The
it.
vi- the fa- the vi- the
Yeah.
family members of the victims are upset. And so Netflix had to remove the LGBTQ tag
Because
from it.
Dahmer's
And
gay.
I'm in my mind, I'm
That's
like,
why.
why would you even put that on there? Like again, it's perpetuating the, oh, this is a gay show. No, nigga, this is not a gay show. This is a white man killing gay boys. So I don't, I'm so irritated. Like it just, I'm over it. I would say if you want to watch it and check out a couple of episodes, I would say watch episode 7, watch episode 8, maybe watch episode 1 just to kind of get a
I think
basis.
it's the
But you
way
don't
that
need to watch all 10.
the
10
way that at
episodes was
least the
far too
first two
much.
episodes were
Far too
structured.
much. We
It's
didn't need 10
just
episodes.
it's kind of just taking you through basically what happens to these men as soon as once they enter the apartment. And so for that hour, it's you are on pins and needles just trying to figure out exactly, are they going to be able to get out? Are they going to be okay? I mean, we all know that they're not, but um, how it happens is yeah, really just really tough to watch. Just really, it's really tough to
I can't
watch.
hear you. I need you to
Is
speak
my
up for me. You've got
can
no
you
audio
don't see
level.
anything? You don't hear anything? Hello, hello.
Now I
Okay, so
can,
yeah,
yeah.
it's just it's
I can hear you now.
yeah. If you can get through it, more power to you.
And that's the key word. If you can get through it, yeah. That's all I have. It's very.
All right.
Let's
Well,
move
we'll
on.
be
Let's go
right
to
back
break. I
with
need a break.
fizz or flat.
Yeah, for some reason your audio levels like were just so extremely low that it didn't seem like it was
I
picking up
don't know what to
anything
tell
on
you,
that
man.
last little bit. Need to figure this out because I'm not quite sure why it's so low.
All right, and we are back. It is time for our
I'm ready.
signature segment of this podcast, Fizz or Flat. This is the part of the show where Marcus and I get to go over the top pop culture moments of the week and give them a fizz if we're feeling them or a flat if we're not. So what we're going to start with this week is I want to give a
Flat if
quick
we're
and
not.
huge shout out to Taylor Hale, who is the first black woman to win Big Brother in its 24th season, mind you. It's crazy, but it is a
Ain't that
huge victory
wild?
for Taylor Hill, who's
Wild.
27 years old, and I think was the fan favorite all throughout the show. I had seen lots of posts on Instagram and on social
She was.
media that have basically championing her throughout this entire thing, and in
TikTok.
an 8-1 vote she was the winner of this series. So big huge shout out to her. She was also Miss Michigan USA, so a beauty queen at that. Um, and really excited to see her have this milestone.
It's a total fizz for me. I saw some TikToks that put a compilation of all
Oh,
of
I'm
the
sure.
microaggressions that all of the other housemates had against her, and she just let it roll off her back. She was like, "I'm going to continue being nice and playing my game." And it was so weird watching all of these white people try to come after her and then
Yeah,
immediately
they
get
were not
xed off the
having it.
show. And I'm like, "That's
I,
what you
I
get,
mean, I
karma,
love to see
karma."
this as well as because we have Taylor who's won. We had the Cookout who also did well in the previous season of Big Brother. And so I'm glad to see us getting our just due, even though it's now in the 24th season. But shout out and a huge fizz to Taylor Hale.
24 seasons. Fizz, fizz, fizz. I wanted to just give a huge fizz. We finally, for all you MCU Marvel superhero fans, we got our announcement. Deadpool 3 is coming, and Hugh
Mm,
Jackman will be reprising his role as Wolverine. So this was huge news that dropped this week because we've been waiting on the Deadpool 3 announcement because they are supposed to be integrating him into the actual Marvel Cinematic Universe now. And if Hugh Jackman is going to be a part, that means mutants and
yeah.
X-Men are not too far behind. So I just wanted to shout that out. A huge fizz. The movie's supposed to premiere in 2024, I believe. And
All
so
right.
we will be
We are
on the
heading to
lookout
New
for that.
York
It's a
and
fizz
want to give
for
a
me.
huge shout out to Solange Knowles, who is now adding composer to her resume for the New York City Ballet. That's right. So the singer recently did her first original score for the New York City Ballet's Fashion Fall Gala. Um, Making her, I think, the second black female composer to produce work for the City Ballet, um, which is, I mean,
I think
bringing
so,
us
yeah.
to a whole brand new um, genre and bringing more people of color to the ballet world. I love that she was able to do this. Um, I think Sarah Jessica is like on the board of the New York City Ballet, and they decided that they really wanted to bring Solange on to do this original score. It's the 10th anniversary of the Fashion Fog of the gala, so they really wanted to do it big. I saw the clip of Beyonce and Tina Knowles that were just cheering Solange on, and it's just nice to see us branching out and her, just adding more and more to her resume. Huge fizz.
I love that. Fizz. Total fizz. Another superhero news. Armor Wars was a Disney Plus show that was supposed to be taking place as a TV series, but it has now been upgraded to an actual feature film. A lot of the creators and producers and Kevin Feige said that they didn't feel as though a TV series did justice to the story that they were trying to tell. And so Rhodey is coming to the big screen. So Don Cheadle, get that check, honey, get that bag. Paul Bettany will also be reprising his role as White Vision in the movie, the now movie instead of a TV series as well. And so I'm very excited to see how they transition this. This must mean that it's a big story to be told if it's going to be on the big screen now. And so I'm
Yeah.
excited for all of
Um,
those involved. But that also
your
gets a
boo
big fizz for
Jonathan
me.
Majors has been in recent talks and negotiations to play Dennis Rodman in a biopic. So there's been a
I would like
project
to see it.
that has been talking about Dennis Rodman and focusing mainly on the NBA Finals in 1998, where Dennis Rodman spent 48 hours of that time in Las Vegas. This was heavily featured in the Last Dance documentary when they were talking about this. Michael Jordan talks about it and recalls his experience of
Yeah.
going to Vegas and trying to get Dennis Rodman to come back with Carmen Electra. And Jonathan Majors has been signed on to now to well he I won't say he's signed on, but he is in talks. He's in negotiations to make this happen. What are
He's
your
in
thoughts
talks.
on this? This was not my first choice for Dennis Rodman, but what do you think?
I could see it. I could definitely see it because they definitely favor each other. You know I'm a strong nose connoisseur, and Dennis has a strong nose just like Jonathan Majors does, and so they definitely favor each other. I could see this because I'm
Yeah, I
trying to
was just like,
picture
who?
Jonathan with
I
the
mean,
green or the blonde hair
I
and
think
the
the first thing
designs
was
in
the
it.
huge height difference is what kind of like took me out of it. But um, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This probably not my first choice. I would have to go back and look and think about
Who would
some
be your
tall
first
actors
choice?
who I mean because Dennis Rodman is huge, but then I mean Dennis Rodman is
I
huge.
mean, they may not all be tall.
He's like 6'7".
Like they can
Can you
cheat
hear me?
that stuff.
I mean they can cheat it on camera,
I know
but like
Dennis
I
was that
mean
tall, but they
that's
can cheat
quite
that
a
on camera. I mean, I don't think that's a big
that's
deal.
quite a difference. That's gonna be quite a difference. Um, I don't know
Well, get an Apple box.
who I would pick, but he's not the first name that came to mind. So, um, we'll see. But I mean, obviously, you're here for it. Interesting. Okay.
I'm here for it. It's a fizz. Uh, uh what else do I got? Oh, I watched. I want to just give a big shout out to the cast of Hocus Pocus 2.
Oh, was it
I
good?
watched that last night. Well, not last. I watched that Friday night. I was surprised. It was well done. It was nostalgic. It was fun. It didn't take itself too seriously. It didn't try to be anything that it wasn't
Nice.
supposed to be, and it didn't step on anything from the original. I was pleasantly surprised,
Oh
and
wow.
it's an all female cast,
Nice.
like nothing but women, and I loved it. I loved every moment of it. There were some elements that they took out. Obviously, Billy came back, but he had a very small role, and then what's his name, James, he was in your show, the guy, you'll know who I'm
Oh,
talking
you're
about, the
talking
show with
about
Tiffany Haddish where she was
the
like the
after
police
party.
detective.
Yeah, I know who you're talking
And the
about.
black guy who had the first episode, I forget his name, but he was in Hocus Pocus 2 and an amazing job. Like I said, it was nostalgia. I thought the ladies, Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy Najimy, Bette Midler, all did great. We also got some cameos from Cornbread, Ginger
Oh, really?
Minge,
Okay.
and Kahana, not
Okay,
Kahana,
got it. Got it.
Kamora Hall, Kamora, was in. They played the sisters in like
Nice.
drag form and stuff, and even got some speaking
Nice.
lines. I said, "Come on, day players, y'all better get this day player check." So it was a great movie. It's on
All
Disney
right.
Plus. It
A fizz.
premiered
I'm gonna
September
give it a
30th. So
I'm
please
gonna
check
give it
it
a
out. It's a
premature
fizz for
fizz.
me.
So shout out to that. You have anything else? I'm good.
You have anything else? Oh wait, so one more thing then. We also have to give a huge shout out to Kiki Palmer. Key TV, she launched a network, child. Kiki Lauren Palmer
Okay.
as her she's calling herself now. She said I created a brand called Kiki, but Lauren Palmer is creating a network. I said you better do the damn thing, girl. She's created a digital TV network, which I'm sure there will be lots of good content on.
Yeah, girl.
We're gonna slide into Kiki's DMs
Help
because
us
Cold
out.
Pop is looking for a platform. And you never know. You never know. So I'm going to give it a huge fizz. Kiki, holla at us, girl. We would love to join Key TV and help you get this platform off of the ground and running. So it's a huge fizz for me.
Okay.
It's sort of like Kiki is having a little bit of a career renaissance.
Yeah.
I won't call her a career debut because she's been doing this for quite a while now. But she is having a career renaissance, and I am very, very happy for her. And I hope that she can keep this momentum and get some big roles. One thing that I did want to mention, there has been chatter, conversation, fan casting, and I would like to see it. Kiki Palmer as Rogue
Okay.
in X-Men. Let's do it. Let's have it. I could see it. I could see it. She's a Southern girl. She's got the personality that fits the Rogue personality stereotype. Let's see Kiki Palmer play Rogue in the MCU. I would definitely be here for that. And
Yeah.
so it's
Shout
a
out to
huge
Kiki
fizz for me.
Palmer,
I'm a
and
fan.
it's a fizz
Been a
for me
fan,
as
still a
well.
fan, will be a fan.
All right. So it is time for the end of the show. Marcus, what are your
That's
final
it.
thoughts? What are you leaving away with?
My final thoughts are is that everyone needs friends like Tamron Hall that'll speak up for you in rooms that you're not a part of and make sure that they have your back when you're not there to speak up for yourself. My only wish is that my good Judy Trent Rashad would do the same for
No,
me,
I'll never.
but he does not.
No, I'm not gonna support
And
anybody
so
when
I
they
just want
wrong.
to say
I'll
that
never. I'm
get you a
not.
friend like
I'm the
Tamron
kind of friend
Hall
I won't
because
support
that's
you
what
when
we
you
need in
wrong.
our
I'm not gonna
lives.
do that. Now I'm gonna tell you
Huh?
about yourself. Oh, okay.
You won't support me
Yeah.
at all.
I'm glad you have. I'm
So,
glad you have.
and it's okay. I've come to terms
No,
with that because you're that girl that
no.
you will not speak up for me. You will not make sure that you have my back. You will not when there is a conflict or
I will watch you
altercation,
drown.
you will idly sit by and let
You
me
know
defend
you need friends
myself.
like Tamron Hall.
And
I have friends
we
like
need
Tamron Hall.
friends like
You
Tamron
need
Hall.
friends like Tamron Hall. Well, hey baby, look,
Yeah, it's and it
you're
sucks
not
that
my
you're
only
not one
friend,
of them.
so that's your
It's
problem.
very unfortunate. Clearly, clearly.
My takeaway is that
What,
you are
so what you
delusional
got? What
and
you take away from this
you
show,
need
bitch?
serious psychological help. That's my that is my no.
We are
No,
only joking.
yeah,
Let
we
let me be
are.
very
So
clear before anybody is like,
let's just
"Oh,
be
they're
very
fighting. The
real,
girls
and
are
you need some
fighting."
help.
we,
I think going back to our conversation
what are you
about
taking away
Dahmer,
from this
just
episode?
you know, even though something may be getting a lot of attention and may, super popular right now, doesn't mean that it's really great content for you to consume. And so just kind of be mindful of kind of taking a pause. I think, this was like a couple years ago, I probably would have just pushed through the series just so I had something to talk about on this podcast. But like, no, the amount of TV that I feel like I consume is just like I have to kind of pick and choose what's going to feed me and what's not going to be. Yeah, what what might be a little bit too much.
We
So
have options.
so that's what I'm taking away. Uh, if you want to continue the conversation with us, please follow us on social media. You can find us at ColdPOP Show, Instagram, Twitter. You can watch our videos now on YouTube. You can watch these shows if you want to
Yes.
on YouTube. So if you want to follow me, Trenton Rashad on Instagram and Twitter.
And you can follow me at Marcus Drew Steele with an E on the end on all the socials. Thank you all so much for listening to us this week. This was a
Definitely.
good
All
show,
right,
good
Pop Stars.
topics. There was a
Until
lot that
next
happened, so
time,
I'm glad we
see
got a
ya.
chance to meet up and talk about it. Bye.